Hey, welcome to Game Face Monday. We are live. Hope everyone's staying warm out there. It is frigid and snowy and not so nice where I am up in New York. But as always, Mr. Richie Bello is sitting by my side. And today we have back on the show Christopher Martinez, who is the founder of Ignite Ups. We're going to be talking today about a trend that's starting to take over the automotive industry, and that is the buying center, building your own buying center, and what that means for the dealerships. We're going to talk about maybe a couple of examples of what's going on out there. Chris is going to talk to us about how we can take it to the next level and see how dealers can save hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars a year on fees, maybe starting to rethink the auctions. How you guys doing?
Good.
I'm good. How you doing?
Awesome. Hanging in there, staying warm. And if I sound a little off today at times, I'm sorry. I'm definitely coming down with something. But before we get rolling on the show, we are going to take a 1-minute break to hear from our sponsor, Shop Smart Autos.
Shop Smart Autos knows the new car market is starting to take a back seat, and pre-owned is where it's at. That's why it's time to seriously tap into the private seller market. With Shop Smart Autos, your dealership can now target private sellers by zip code and radius. Yes, anyone looking to sell their vehicle in your area. Once you decide how many opportunities you want and start reaching out, Shop Smart Autos launches a complete dealer-branded nurture program that drives those sellers straight to your showroom. And the best part? You get all the details on the seller and the vehicle, so you know exactly what you're dealing with. So grab that trade, put them behind the wheel of their next vehicle, and create a world of growth and retention. Auctions are cutting into your profits, and sourcing quality pre-owned vehicles takes too much time. Shop Smart Autos has the answer, driving the private seller market to your door.
All right. So, and the private sellers, which you just saw from Shop Smart Autos, is a big part of this topic. So Richie, Chris, I think the number is around 7 million vehicles are bought each year from auctions. It's right around that number. I believe it's tens of billions of dollars in fees. So building your own buying center, obviously right off the bat would mean an amazing, unbelievable amount of savings to the dealership, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, when you talk about even if you're not buying them at auction, what you're buying just at other little wholesale part places, you're not actually focused on buying them there at the store. You're actually, anytime you go on OVE and those auction fees there, or the prices that you have to pay just to get those buying fees there, it gets kind of outrageous.
Yeah, I was running the numbers, Rich, with
and actually the numbers, Lee, is 14 million vehicles.
Oh, it's 14. Oh,
Yes,
gee. Okay. Yeah, I guess you can't always rely on Google to shoot out the right answer. Yeah, the other day, and maybe it was a different year I was looking at, but I know it was tens of billions of dollars in fees across the country that dealerships are paying, which, yeah, so I can't imagine how great it would be for a dealership to now really start to think about becoming a buying center. Rich, what are you seeing out there with that process?
Well, I've noticed something that it's a process to get. The first thing that you got to get is everybody in the dealership to buy into something. Chris is one of those great leaders in the retail side, in the automotive sector, right? If you want to start a buying center, you got to get the whole company to think about it. So how do you think that happens? Well, the first thing you got to do is get private sellers. Yes, that data is out there. We have that data. Right now, if you look at Shop Smart Autos private sellers, we're about to launch that private seller data. We just got to get some agreement signed when customers post stuff on there. So we got to get some agreement signed. That's all. But other than that, we're launching that product line through Shop Smart Autos too. because we have plenty of private sellers there in the marketplace. So, but the other thing is, how do you get your whole company to start thinking about that? Say the average service department that sells 160 cars has 1,000, anywhere between 1,000 and 1,200 ROs. The first thing what you got to do is put a flyer on there. We buy your car, right? Without you purchasing a car. That's 1,000 people that are walking in there knowing that you have a buying center.
Right.
Okay. We have a buying center. And the other process that you have to do is do your email marketing through your DMS, right? To just promote that you're buying cars without you purchasing a car. And the reason for that, Mr. Customer, is because the pricing on the cars are very high, this, that, and we'd rather have a local vehicle than go into an auction and bringing in a car that might not be quality.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're communicating with that customer and telling them, wow, they're really looking to get good cars. We know you service with us, da, 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 da. So that's the other thing. And then you got to put your whole sales team together. Bring me anybody that you know is selling their cars. You got friends in that. Now you have everybody geared in the showroom towards that, right?
Right.
And where it is putting everything together on that wheelhouse where your whole company is aware of what you're doing, right? Now everybody is geared towards that. And now that's important message. The other thing is the reason that cars are so expensive too is the auction, right? But it's the shipping and all that stuff. But the most important thing, apart from the shipping, and the buy fees, is you're not dealing with a local car. That car could be not local. When you're selling that vehicle, you can sell to that customer that's buying that car. Listen, Mr. Jones, this is a local car.
Right.
That has a tremendous amount of value. And how do you know it's a local car? Because of Carfax, you show them. And if you have any service.
Hey, Richie, I think part of the audience to know why that's important. Like, why is it a local car? I'll give you an example. In San Antonio, where I'm at, you'd rather have a local car here versus one back in the East Coast that may have a lot of salt damage and things just the vehicles degrade a little bit faster up there than they do down here. So
Right.
it may be important to you that it's a local vehicle. So I think a lot of people miss that part. So good job pointing that out.
Yeah.
Yes, and I only know these processes because we have other buying centers, and I don't want to mention anybody by name, but we got a pretty good buying center out in California that's how they do it, right? And it's working. You look at their numbers and it's working, but they get so much from service. They get so much from the sales guy. They get so much from everywhere, and you got to gear it up like that. But the biggest thing when you got a customer in front of you, like Chris said, that's important. It's a local vehicle. Even if that vehicle is a little bit higher, they always said it's better to buy it from the curb. And where the sale is made, the sale is not made in the sale is made in the buy.
Mm-hmm.
If you buy that car right, that's when you're going to make the money, because the sale is one thing, but the buyers are so important. And I don't really think these stores are giving the buyer the really good pay that they deserve. Like, for an example, buyers today, they should be making good money, because that's really where you make the money in the car business. And these buying centers are going to start going all over the place more and more and more. And the reason is because it's like when you get the car from the auction, Chris is right, you got to deal with that objection. Like, where is this car? When you do the Carfax, they know that car's from Nebraska and you're in Arizona. Okay. So that's not that good. As I'm selling a car local, where's that car from? Well, I'm selling a car in Phoenix and that car is from Glendale. So what is that? That's a much easier sell, I think, than a car from Nebraska, right? So it's a local vehicle, and that's really, really key. And as far as a lot of these buying centers, they say, hey, just give me the data. Well, okay, great. The data itself ain't going to convert anything, guys, just to let you know. It's the process, and it's just like a sales process. If you just want the data, that ain't going to do anything. You think your buyer is going to call the person 10 or 12 times, like our automated system with Chris, the AI and all that? That's not going to happen. So the funneling, email funnels, you think that's going to happen? That's not going to happen. You're a buyer. You're on the phone with the customer. You're looking at your Manheim thing, and you're telling the customer numbers. You don't know the sales process. You're a buyer is very good. When I'm in front of the customer, I know what to do, but they're not necessarily good on the phones. Now, there's people out there that actually think the data is great. If you're looking at analytical and you want to start an analytical business, then you do the data, like the VIN retention. But what is the process for you to retain customers? Do you know, Mr. Dealer? What is the process for you to reach out to your customers and get them in the showroom? Do you know that? Get me leads. I need leads. Okay, we try that. Leads don't really work, even if it's third party or internet leads. Just look at your stores. If you're not having the process to get those customers in the showroom, does it really matter? Does it really matter if you get 100 or 1,000?
Right.
You know, we all know what BDC is. We all know that you get somebody that tells you no 3 times and you pass up the opportunity. So we got Chris following it up with the AI agents. We also have our email funnels. You're doing the outreach consistent. Right. And, you know, the repetitious of that is going to get you a much better results than you currently have. You agree with that?
Yeah, Chris, that's where I was going to ask you. So where the BDC departments have been wavering, let's say, it's not necessarily all a failure, but where we're having that issue with the follow-up and all, what's that difference that the AI is making there?
It's actually a big difference. When you see, you know, we've done a lot of A/B tests throughout the country for a lot of our stores. And, you know, initially, we've been focused heavily on voice agents, and I'll tell you, voice agents do a great job. But when you add or layer in SMS prior to the voice, that's where you get even higher engagement. So I'll give you an example. You know, we had some dealer that wanted to just do voice agents. It was converting well, but then the minute we added text, it increased the conversions by like 30%. So when you see that engagement level go up, where you had the bar was set with the voice agents, then we later on the SMS agents, and then it just took it up a whole different level. So I think that, you know, when you can, you know, layer in AI in any of your part of your process, it's only going to amplify your best people. And even your worst ones, is going to make them even better. So what I'm finding is that it's been an equalizer. So it's literally put people essentially on the same playing field. And by exposing, you know, some inefficiencies in some of your sales teams, you'll be able to identify which ones need more help immediately, and which ones are actually, you know, playing at the level that you thought they were. So it's been really good.
Yeah, and I noticed that even if you take AI out of the picture, if I even when it comes to simple things like pet food, if I get that email, usually I delete it 4 or 5 days in a row. But if on the 4th or 5th or 7th day, I'm hit with a text and it's like, well, enjoy this 40% off for the dog food from so-and-so. And that for some reason, my brain, that's always where I make the move. It's when I get that next layer from a different source or a different media. Now with AI, the idea is to touch people more and more, right? To never really I mean, at some point you give up. You don't want to drive people completely insane, but the idea of, I mean, I remember being on the dealership floor. They had a goal. It wasn't a lot. To me, it wasn't a lot. It was 200 calls a month, I think, and almost no one would meet it. They would just throw their hands up in the air, and I'm like, what? How many calls is that a day? That's really not a lot. But that's where I came from, so maybe, you know. But yeah, I would end up doing 300 or 400 without realizing it. But with AI, all these people that, especially the newer generation that just doesn't want to be on the phone, I'm sure it's a tremendous difference having these agents.
You think about it, if you got a sales team of 10 and their goal is to call it 100 calls a day, right? You have 10 people doing 100 calls a day. Well, how many is that total? And there's 20 selling days, right? So there are days off and all that.
20,000.
Right? And you can do that in like, a couple minutes doing that with AI. And now you just kind of knocked out their whole follow-up for that whole month in a couple minutes.
Right. Yeah, and the AI doesn't have its feelings hurt.
Yeah. And most of the time salespeople give up because either the customer cusses them out, they tell them, I'm not interested. No, they hang up. And the AI is not going to get, tired of hearing no. It's just going to keep going until it finds the low-hanging fruit, those opportunities that you want your salespeople looking for anyway.
Right.
And then serving them back up to your sales team so that they can be more effective.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And Rich, how easy is it for the end user to get these private seller leads in their hands?
It's, it's not that hard, the end user, the dealerships you're talking about, right? I assume?
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. Yes.
It's not that hard. DM me and we'll put it together. But I just want to make a point. I don't want to just sell the data. I don't just want to sell that, because I know that selling that, what's going to happen, it's not going to work, because it ain't like you're even giving it to the BDC or anything. You guys, the buyers are doing it. We had a store out in New York that we did the private sellers. It didn't really work. It was a used car store until we started doing funnels in that. And actually, I got a phone call from him over the weekend to see how things were going. He was interested in starting it all over. I says, well, now, apart from the email funnels, you also got these AI stuff going on. And, and why, I'm just going to say something. When a salesperson or a BDC person, right? Let's talk about a BDC person. They tell them no. Understand, a BDC person is not a salesperson, right? When somebody says no, that is a very difficult thing for certain people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And when they say no, they just say, oh, okay.
Right.
That's it. And then they write their no. And let me tell you something too. You have a perception. People in showrooms, some of them, don't believe in what you do in the car business, don't necessarily believe that you have to follow up somebody 10 or 12 times. They look at that as harassment.
Right.
Managers, BDC people and all that. So it's their perception that they're going to follow it up to when they're comfortable with.
Right.
Having a machine following it up, it's a whole different thing, right? Because now this is, I don't want to be bothered like this. But here's what they don't understand, and here's what nobody understands, right? If you are not aggressive with the phone, getting people, okay, your competitor is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's what everybody's missing. It's a marketplace. There is 1 million new customers every month through IHS data in the market to buy a car. There's 650 subprime people a month. It's 1.6 million customers that are in the market to buy a car. All right. A lot of them don't buy. And a lot of them buy it on that residual effect, within the next 2 to 3 months. because some people don't make a decision quick. If you're not on them and on them, somebody will be on them.
Mhm.
I had a conversation about 2 years ago with a virtual BDC company that told me we don't follow up even internet leads because our people can deal with it. They feel like it lowers their productivity. Really.
Right.
So that's the kind of stuff that was going on in the automotive sector. There's a post out there that I saw that Chris did that now the king is not private sellers. It's these big like Auto Traders, Cars Direct, and all that. Why? Because they're following up. Trust me, they're doing what they got to do also to drive people into the showroom, right? And if you don't have traffic, let's say you don't buy private sellers, let's say you have no traffic, what you're doing is putting doubt in that salesman's head. There's no traffic here. Why is my friend that's working for ABC Motors, why is he getting traffic? Because they'll call them, oh, we got today 50 leads. You know how it is. These guys all talk to each other. So what you're doing is now you're really getting hurt because now they're going to leave. That happened in 08, guys. 08, there was no traffic. The people that were in stores a long time started spinning all over the place. And a lot of them went into a whole different business. And that could happen again because traffic is light. And I'm not just saying that because of the analytics. I'm saying that because I'm walking in places and I see the traffic's light.
Right.
I see it. I see it with these two eyes. The traffic is light. When you're 4 or 5 hours in a place that gets no traffic, there's a problem. You know, and that's what's happening. And the automotive sector is going through an evolution right now, but it's going to be quick. You're going to go right back into how things were because you have a different type of audience here. You got these Uber drivers and all that. That miles are racking up. They're just going to flip them right over. And with following people up, it's important. There is no BDC that's going to follow up somebody 12 times.
Right.
And at the 10th time, Chris, am I right? That's when you see the conversion?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And so also now, besides the fact of thinking about these cars being on a local level, which that was a huge point, Chris, that you made about not wanting cars from the Northeast over there, but makes total sense. I could see why. But also the idea that and I know you don't think, Rich, initially, like dealerships should put out there that they are a buying center, that it isn't necessarily pressure to buy a car. Because I know in the past, all we've ever seen is push it, pull it, tow it, drag it in for $3,000 towards your trade. But really, yeah, right? I mean, you're talking about if you pull in the private sellers, you're looking at unbelievable lifelong income also from this too, right? It's not just saving money. You're saving money on the purchase. You're doing unbelievable things for your inventory. You might sell that customer a car. They might service that car there if you're playing your cards right. I mean, it's like this ongoing, like people shouldn't just look at it as now we have more inventory for less money.
Right. That's the wrong thing to look at because now you're helping your brand more. Say your sales traffic is not there. Now you got traffic that you're buying a car. And understand something. Let's say that customer is having a hard time selling a car or something. When you do something for somebody and you agreed on a deal that you're buying something from them, they have friends that says, you know, I went there and they stepped up and got my car out of my hands. So then your word of mouth, just forget about it. You know what I mean? You treat them right, buying the vehicle from them, and buying the vehicle from somebody is pretty much a clean cut deal. You know what? Here's what I can pay. Here's what you want. And that's it. It's no like stories or no, none of that. It's a pretty transparent deal. When you do that, you're just helping more traffic come to your store. More people know about your store and you're building your brand and you're building your sales department. That's what I think.
Yeah. And Chris, Is it an expensive undergoing to convert yourself into a buying center?
It can be, because realistically, the people that turn it into a real business buy a lot more. The ones that kind of half step it, they do a partial, like, hey, we're going to buy cars, and they tell their sales team, and then like 2 days later, it's out of sight, out of mind, and because they don't want to spend any money. Those are the people that it never works. Oh, I've tried it, doesn't work. They try to get some, $10 an hour employee to sit in the service drive. That's never going to work.
Yeah.
You have to really make a conscious effort to define it and say, okay, these are the employees. These are the people that are going to be 100% focused on this, acquiring vehicles all day, every day.
Right.
There's no different why Carvana and CarMax can come into any market and immediately scoop up the majority of those used cars that are out on the marketplace. Right. I'll tell you, I have a business partner, a friend of mine, that has buying centers, and he's got 9 of them, and they're all in the same market, and he's buying 600 cars a month, and he's doing a great job, and he's invested a lot of money. I mean, think about 9 buying centers all over that city. You have to make a conscious effort to hire people, pay people to sit in that chair, pay for advertising, get people to know who you are.
Right. And
for the dealers who think that they're just going to somehow magically make it happen by telling their sales team that, hey, we buy cars, it's just never going to happen. And so they'll continue to have those piss poor results. Excuse my language.
Yeah. So it has to be XYZ buying center over in this town, and where maybe
actually put some money behind, like put some ads behind it, advertise that you have it, not just talk about, tell your salespeople to tell people to post it on their social. That's stuff is important. You should do that. Yeah. But you got to put some money behind it.
Right.
Pay for people. I mean, pay for ads, pay for the right people to sit in the service drive. If you don't have real salespeople that know how to talk to customers, that you teach how to appraise cars, you're just never going to acquire as many as you need out of the service drive.
Yeah,
I've had some really successful stores buying 100 cars out of the service drive every month, and I've seen it. Like, it's the stores that we put that kind of position in, 20, 30 cars. That's usually where you start at, until you can get them to a level that they execute at a higher level.
Right. Now, even though there's a cost against it, guys, let's say like you
nowhere near what you would be paying at auction.
Right. If you're sick, the guy that's doing 600 cars a month, what would the average fees be at the auction times 600? And is it that investment? Put it into yourself, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
And let me just put something on that as a spin. So here's what it is. Dealers look at everything as an expense.
Right.
Opening up a buying center, let's say it's 40 grand. That's an investment, because you can make this decision. You say, you know what, I'll just keep going to the auction and buying them. Yeah, you're right. I agree with you, Mr. Dealer. You don't have to do that. You know what you can do? The same thing. But your competitor, the guy next door to you, okay, he's doing that buying center, and that guy next door to you is selling local cars.
Mm-hmm.
And your salespeople today are not trained when they have an auction car to tell that customer, especially with high miles. If you're doing 35, 40,000 miles, but let's face it, the average mile is not that anymore. You got a car that's 70,000 miles in your lot, right? And now that customer is going to say, show me the Carfax and all this. When they see the Carfax and they see where the car was registered originally, and it goes all over the place, now you say to yourself, what? Okay, now how is that salesman going to deal with that objection? Okay, versus a guy next door, Okay, well, he's doing this, he's doing that. House is lot flipping and flipping and flipping. Well, I'll tell you why. Because he's got local vehicles, he's got local cars. Okay, that's what everybody's missing. That has a tremendous value, and you spend 40 or 50,000 on Google AdWords, right? Praying that it converts and praying that it converts, but you're not putting your money and you're not investing it in a buying center. And right now, buying centers, there's a lot of small size company, big companies that are doing the buying center. So why ain't you doing that?
Right.
Why? Because you have to lay out X, Y, Z. Well, you want to know something, but you're going to see it grow and scale. It's a department. It's just a department like when BDC first came out. A lot of people didn't want to do it. Then the virtual BDCs came out. Then it's just the evolution that goes on. There's an evolution on Earth every day. Okay. You go from night to day. Boom. That changes, and you got to stay within that evolution, because if not, there is a good chance that not that you'll go out of business, but your numbers will deplete.
Right.
If you do it the same way. This is too hard. This is too difficult. Of course it's hard. And of course it's difficult. And of course you got to work on it, because that's the way when things come in that are new.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, actually, we're just going to take a 1-minute break again to hear from Shop Smart Autos. Be right back.
We continue to show dealerships across the country how to retain their customers. But now Shop Smart Autos wants to bring the new customers right to your showroom floor. The car they want? It's sitting on your lot. And Shop Smart Autos can bring you the VIN-specific leads that take them straight to your door. These aren't just leads. They're nurtured, targeted, and matched down to the exact vehicle. You'll sell more cars faster, and your team is going to thank you for it. Shop Smart Autos VIN-specific leads. Let SSA show them the way to your showroom floor.
So, Rich, before we switch topics, I didn't know if there was anything else you wanted to add, or Chris, on the topic of the buying centers. But I wanted to switch over and ask you a little bit about boots on the ground. Anything else before I break away?
Go ahead, talk to me about it.
Okay. Well, just curious, how's it going? I know starting to reach out to dealers, right, to see if they want to be able to hire vetted U.S. military veterans, right?
Right.
Yeah. And so just tell us a little bit how things are going with that, and what kind of response.
Well, the boots on the ground is a whole thing that came up with this nonprofit, right? Because they say Chris, right? Say Chris has he takes credit cards at his company, right? So we fill out a paperwork, right? And he's donating to them based on what the bank is charging him. So let's say the bank is charging him 3%, maybe 0.5%. The bank gives to us, not Chris. The bank gives us to the Institute. And the good thing about that is that then we brand him as he donates to the veterans, and not every nonprofit is veteran friendly, and veterans is a big audience for some folks that don't understand that. If you have a veteran audience, that's big. I've been 10 years with my nonprofit. I definitely in Arizona have the veteran audience. Actually, veterans drive me around, When I go to stores and that, they drive me around, So having that veteran audience is very important. The boots on the ground is something that we're in the process of training these vets, right, to take it on for a lot of other stuff, not just this one product, because vets are very good at what they do, and they're very organized and they're very detailed. So you just imagine whatever you're selling, getting veterans to go out to the automotive space, getting veterans to knock on dealers' doors, having that audience behind you is really, really a game changer, I think.
Yeah.
It took us like 10 years to be where we're at today, when the grants are coming in by March. Just got to go to Washington, fill out some more paperwork, and like we're ready to help these vets out because the time has come.
Yeah.
So we've been working on that, but the boots on the ground is great. You know what I mean? Because they really are very motivated, and by you donating, you're helping the vet. You're helping everybody, and you're helping out a nonprofit.
Awesome. And then the book should be launching any day now too, right? Ignite Your Might.
Yeah, I think it's going to be February. We had to tweak it a little bit.
Okay.
So when they rewrote it, we just looking at what we got to tweak. So it's going to be out there.
Okay, cool. Right. And of course, I know we've said it a few times, but all the profits from that book is going to go to Soldier Angels.
Yes, Soldier Angels. Yeah. All our books, we always give it to any nonprofit that has to do with veterans.
Very
The
cool.
last one was the suicide thing, and this one we don't really make money on our books. We feel that money should go to veterans. That's what we feel like. That's what our goal is. Not to make any money on our books, to break even expense or whatever. It doesn't matter to us. It's just part of donating that out because they really need all the help they can get. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah, definitely. And Chris, so what would be the ideal way you want people to search you out? Is it igniteups.ai?
Yes, they can reach out that way, or they can find me on LinkedIn.
LinkedIn, awesome. And just for those who didn't catch you last time on the show, approximately, because I know you can't, every situation you walk into is going to be a little different, but approximately to get up and running with AI agents plugged into a specific division of a dealership, what kind of time frame are you looking at about?
It really comes down to phone registration. Usually it takes 3 to 5 business days. If we didn't have to register phones, you could probably get it done within 30 minutes. I mean, it's pretty. It just will take time is registering them, make sure that you're compliant and all of that fun stuff.
And then training the agents takes a little bit of time.
It can, depending if it's a new audience that you're going after or if it's a new type of role that you're trying to fill.
Right.
But for the most part, we already have the majority of the agents that we use at different areas. I mean, of different parts of the business already trained.
Yeah.
And part of it, I've been writing books for the last 10 years now, and a lot of the majority of it's coming from the content I've already written. Plus some more stuff that I haven't never really published that I try to make sure that, we teach our sales teams. Similarly, we teach the AI agents as well.
Awesome. Very cool. All right. So again, for the audience, that's igniteups.ai, or you could search Chris Martinez out on LinkedIn. Yeah, fellas, if no one else has anything else to add, I think that's a wrap for today. As always, Richie, thanks for having me by your side. Chris, it's awesome having you on the show.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
All
Take
right.
care.
Yeah, and thanks to everyone for watching and listening out there.